Have you ever edited your photos and then felt like a little something was missing? Perhaps you weren't happy entirely with the overall finish of the photos, or you weren't happy with the grain. I have the solution for you. Now, if we go into my Lightroom, these are just a few images I have collected for the purposes of this video. A variety of different lighting scenarios of my work. And for example, this is a photo of some bridesmaids in the evening, and this is the original raw file. So that's my preset, lovely stuff. So what I would normally do is I've edited all the wedding, and I go up to File and Export. I will export everything into one folder. I'll rename everything to maybe the wedding venue. I don't want to resize, and resolution at 300. I'm not going to click export because I have literally just done that myself. Okay, so next step is to open everything up in Exposure. If you don't see the folder when you load up Exposure, you just need to click Bookmark Drive, and then you can just find the folder there. I have just imported the folder, and here are my images into Exposure. So what I really love to do is I love to go down to the left, and on these presets there's different film slides. The film slides are from the film days, and what I really love to use is the Kodak Exochrome EES, and I feel like this is brilliant. Up the top you can change the overall intensity of whatever you do in Exposure. I like to put it down to about 45. Now with this, I had all the images selected, so suddenly everything's got it on. And it's just really, really pleasing with skin tones. If I click the before and then after, it ever so slightly gives images a really nice lift. You can go through. Really nice. Really nice with this one. That's the before, and this is the after. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Before and after. It really helps if you feel like your images are struggling a little bit with looking a bit flat. This will just elevate them. It's kind of like just adding like a really nice garnish to a meal. Okay, so then another thing I really love to do is the grain. So what we've got here, overall grain strength, normally leave that about 100, and put everything up to 50, apart from the midtones. Now, if I zoom in here, I can turn it off. So here it's quite a clean image. And then if you turn the grain back on, you can see that the grain's been added in the highlights, and it's also been added in the shadows. But because we've left the midtones untouched, the skin tones are perfectly clear. So now we're going to go across. Using this for example, this is awesome images of some bridesmaids having a great time. Before and after, it's an ever so slightly different thing, but as soon as I found out about this program when I was redoing my website, I had to go through and change every single image on my website to ones which have been mastered with Exposure. So we can see here, grain ever so slightly. What we can do for some images, we can turn it up, we can turn it down. I think that's pretty nice. Before and after, it's beautiful, really nice and shining. Before on this chap playing the guitar, quite a clean image, and then it kind of makes it a bit more gritty. Obviously at night I'm going to be shooting higher ISO, so I can adjust my grain if I would like to. I don't really normally typically spend too much time in Exposure after I've spent a while editing in Lightroom. Normally I will just copy and paste the grain and the ESS slide on everything, and then I will just probably scan really quickly through the gallery just to make sure there's nothing wrong. Right, so we see here, you can adjust the grain, and the highlights really stick out there. That's a bit too, so without the grain it's a bit lifeless, but you bring it up a little bit and it gives that bit of like nostalgia vibe. And yeah, so hope you enjoy. There are different slide effects here on the left where you can see some of them are really, really bright. But obviously that you're seeing everything at 100%. This is like a 1970s blue version, so I can put that down before and after. That's quite nice actually. But yeah, so what I like to do is I like to select the EAS because my preset's quite warm anyway, so I'm not going to select one of these really, really warm ones. And everything's all done. You can even create your own preset with the grain settings. Okay, so one last major thing in this piece of software is on the right, we've got light effects. Now, as you can see, that's already selected an awesome piece of lighting for me. Look at that, that is beautiful. So obviously we've got the sun coming through, but not as much because it's just peeking behind the trees. Look at that, beautiful. And we've got a variety of lots of different things, lots of different ones. You've got green suns, blowouts, you've got haze, you've got lens flares, sun flares, dazzle gold. You even got a crazy, that's a slight ring around, flare, reflections red. So that's without, and then that's with. There's lots of different settings. You can make things more opaque and less opaque. And sun flares, really, really nice. One of my favorites is, where is it? So corner, look at that. Might be a little bit too crazy, but you can always adjust the opacity. So that's without, and that's slightly with. That just elevates that image so much. And if you just spend literally a couple of minutes on some images in your wedding gallery, just to finish them off, if that sun flare is needed, then please do, because you will not regret it. Like, so here I can add one quickly. Let's do all. Obviously, you've got a lot of these, and these normally you can go on Etsy, you can buy them for money, which is a bit mad considering you can just get exposure and have the best ones available. I really love, where is it? Top original. So that's without, that's with. A little bit too much in my opinion, so that's without, and then that's with. That just elevates the image so much. So please let me know how you get on with exposure as a software, and I'll catch you on the next video.